that whole experience was really weird because, getting to where we jam, they welcomed me in, open arms, we were there, and it was just like extra long, put in the hours, and I mean, there was times where I'd be there and Mike wasn't there, so it was just me, Ray, and Dwayne jamming and trying to get our timing on, you know what I mean, getting our vibe together. Like, there's a certain feel that I have, and I kind of felt that there was that same kind of feel that they had, so this was gonna work. I knew it would. It was just, at first, it felt like trying to put a fucking square peg into a circle, and you're just trying to shove that shit in, and it was like, I don't know how it was gonna work. At times I would just take my guitar off and pack up and leave.
But, the funny thing with working with Al was, I can remember in the room, Al having this look on his face like, what did I just get myself into? Because there's Mike and Dwayne and I who've been, especially Dwayne and I, we write together. We want to trim the fat and get on things. We want to, say, lock it in, let's lock it in. And Al was the kind of guy that said, well, when I write my songs, they're 10, 11 minutes long. And then I got to pare them down. And I'm thinking, well, we don't write like that. So the first couple sessions, it was kind of like Al sitting there on the couch, just kind of like looking at us like, and I think he was a little overwhelmed with the whole process.
Al's a little bit more, he likes to take a little bit more time, I think, with it and sit with it, and kind of, he doesn't want to commit to anything too quickly. Whereas Ray and myself, we like to try and figure out some sort of pattern, just some sort of, so that we can follow. When we play it out, we'll say, we'll play it this many times and then this many times. So we have some sort of map to follow. And that's okay with Al at this point. At the beginning, it was a little much for him, but it's worked out well.
He operates on a level where, although he is one man, I think sometimes he is three guitar players. So there's a lot of stuff going on in his head, because he's not just hearing what he's writing, he's hearing all of those additional layers.
I knew that they were gonna have some solid chemistry going on, and I was just gonna have to jump in, and it was gonna be very obvious whether I fit in or not. The problem was that I didn't notice that I was fitting in as we were going along. I had no idea. I actually thought I was like a bastard son in all of this. Like, I didn't think that things were working out. I knew I was writing some really cool riffs, and I was trying to do some super fun things with it. But in the end, if you just saw my body language in the rehearsal room, like, you could tell I was like fucking 1 foot out the door,
Him and I, if he told you we go on power walks, because, we've been trying to take better care of ourselves, and we go on these walkie-talkies, as we like to call them, and we go on these 2.5 hour power walks, and we talk about those things. And he definitely had to, he disappeared for, I think, a week and a half or 2 weeks early on, and we're like, is he still doing this, or where is this guy? So the three of us started writing, because I've been playing guitar my whole life. So we just, started chunking on riffs and wondering, is Al coming back? And I think for him, it was definitely a process of when he wrote something in the Facebook group, the Age of Wolves Facebook group, he wrote we hit a wall, we had to get over the wall, we argued. It wasn't like we were dragged down, punching each other, but we definitely had to figure out a process, because first of all, I got to make friends with this guy. Right? Dwayne and I got to make friends with this guy. Then we got to figure out how he ticks. Then we got to figure out how to work together. So he coming in by himself, he had to do the same for us, but there was 3 personalities to deal with. So he was overwhelmed. And like I said, the look on his face in those early sessions was, I was thinking, oh boy, who else are we going to try and get in here? Because I don't think this guy's going to come back. But I think he saw the value in it. I think he saw the fact that there was 3 guys who are really creative guys that love to have an input. And in past projects, I don't think that input was accepted or at least considered. So I think in this project, once we realized that it was 4 parts and it was going to be 4 parts equal, I think that at that point might have been the turning point for what we were doing, right?
There's a lot of variety. He's coming at songs, like I said, from almost a 3-part guitar, a 3-headed monster, and he's hearing lots of parts in his head and what parts can be laid on top of what he's already doing. And the proofs in some of the recordings we've done already, where it's like he's the guitar guy, and so he's taking care of the guitars. He's inspiring in the fact that he's always pushing forward with a goal in mind. Now, sometimes you do got to stop and smell the roses and take it in, and I hope that if anything, I know it's got to be sometimes frustrating for Al too, because some of us on the other side that are in the band that are not Al might be trying to pump the brakes at times to make sure that things are that are working for them too. And I think that's one thing, I'll say this, I'll put this on record. I think this is the one thing that for Al that's been a really cool experience, is that Al has been in some very successful acts that except for maybe one I'm thinking of off the top of my head, but he's the principal songwriter and the guy, and so the band rolls to the beat of his his passions.
I was definitely telling them the whole way, let's not call it a day just yet. Let's not solidify anything right now. I am not 100% yet. I don't know if this is going to work for me. The process is too natural, this is how they always do things, and I'm like, yeah, I remember doing this when I was in high school, getting together with my buddies in the basement and playing and, forging, some kind of roots and making it be this band, making it really, really feel like a band. And I love that. I missed that. I didn't get that with the last 15 years, let's go. I didn't get that. I flew to Minnesota for rehearsals with the Mighty Nimbus, and then we'd go to tour. We'd do 2 weeks rehearsals, and then we'd tour for 7. And then I'd come home, and then I wouldn't see the guys for a couple of years. And then I was able to change back to another band and keep things going for my projects here.
It's been interesting to say the least. The alpha male thing is really interesting, because we're all kind of pretty strong headed about our ideas and stuff, but it all comes from a good place. We just want the music to be the best it can be. So when there's a strong point of view, we usually take a step back and let somebody have their say, and the best idea always rises to the top, right? So it doesn't matter where it comes from. It just, as long as it's the best idea.
And we're all in the room together and we're fucking arguing. I know it's great. I know that it's just gonna be 1 or 2 more rehearsals of hell where I'm gonna just pack up and I'm gonna leave, and I'm gonna tell you, well, Ray, I guess I'll just write your bass parts, and Dwayne, I'll write your drum parts then, since you've written my guitar parts for me already. You know what I mean? And then I just close my guitar up and I fucking go. I walk out, and then nobody talks to each other for a little bit, and then I fucking message saying hey, do you guys want to jam on Tuesday? Because it's therapy for me, and I'm just getting out all my shit. That's all it is. It's I got a lot of stuff on my mind. And they're very, 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 very cool with that. They're so patient with me.
I respect you too much to let you go down like that.
All right.
Let some fucking what's this
Then live that guitar in that moment, because we're missing that vocal part.
Has anybody gone to a show in the last 8 months? Anybody? No? Yeah. I didn't know how much I missed it. I also realize I'm also older than I look. Thanks, Adam. How does it sound? Yeah? Way to go, Adam.